Welcome back to the deep dive. We're here to take a huge stack of strategic reports, some pretty dense market analyses, and a ton of creator notes, and we'll turn it all into a powerful, concise understanding of what's happening right now in the digital economy.
And today's deep dive is, I think, particularly fascinating. We're looking at how normal people, non-celebrities, the unpolished creators, the really niche experts, are finding this incredible financial and viral success on YouTube.
And at a speed and scale that just feels impossible, right, compared to how things used to be.
Exactly. It's more than just success. It's a systemic shift, a total upheaval of the old creator hierarchy. Our source material confirms this paradox that, ordinary people, often starting with just a smartphone and an idea.
Literally just a phone.
Just a phone.
Yeah.
And they're achieving massive sustainable income. And we're not talking small numbers. The reports show monthly earnings starting at $10,000, and for some, soaring up to $500,000.
$500,000 a month. That's life-changing money.
For sure. And the really critical part is that this is happening now. This growth is accelerating in this 2024 to 2026 window. It's completely outpacing what we used to think of as the golden years of high production, high budget content.
That's the core question we have to answer then. Why now? Why are the barriers to entry, which, we used to measure in thousands of dollars for cameras and lighting, why are they suddenly measured in like seconds of strategic thought? So our mission today is to really dissect the engineered growth strategies that are fueling this whole boom. We want to look past the idea of just, a lucky lottery ticket video.
Right, the one-off viral hit.
We're analyzing the deliberate platform mechanics, the specific content rules that, when you apply them consistently, are driving this exponential growth.
And to really get it, you have to understand the huge philosophical shift that's happened at YouTube. We can basically break it down into two different eras of success online. First, you have the classic path. This is, say, pre-2020s. It was all defined by this collision of luck and talent. Success really hinged on a single, often kind of quirky or unique video just catching. Totally unexpected attention.
I'm thinking of the really early viral hits, right? Like Charlie Bit My Finger or the skateboarding dog, stuff that was just pure novelty.
Exactly. It was that era where you'd upload something, cross your fingers, and just hope that lightning struck. And if you got lucky, maybe, you'd get a call from a cable TV show or a big brand deal.
But your career was built on that one single spectacular event. A flash in the pan.
A total flash in the pan. It was random. It was incredibly hard to replicate. And it really favored people who were already, professional performers or just uniquely talented in some visible way.
Okay, so that's the old way. What's the new way?
The modern path from the 2020s onward is completely different. Success now is, it's engineered. It relies on this deep, almost cold understanding of the platform algorithms of strategic content hooks.
And the discipline to apply them.
The discipline, exactly. And consistently applying new features like YouTube Shorts. The strategy is actually predictable, even if the exact results aren't immediate.
Okay, let's unpack that core shift, because this feels like the absolute key to understanding the landscape right now. The sources say YouTube moved from rewarding celebrity to rewarding signal. What does that mean in practice for, the person filming their hobby in their garage?
It means the whole system, the whole filter, has changed. It's no longer using external validation like fame or budget or a pre-existing audience as the primary way to decide what to show people.
The gatekeepers are gone.
They're gone. The algorithm just doesn't ask, is this person a famous actor or are they a professional musician anymore? It asks three purely behavioral questions of you, the viewer.
Okay, what are they?
1, did you click on this? 2, did you watch a significant portion of it? And 3, and this is the absolute king, after the video finished, did you stay on YouTube or did you close the app?
So it's become completely data-driven. The system only cares about what the audience does, not who the creator is.
100%. A normal creator with a clear idea, some deep specific knowledge, and, pacing that respects your time, they can absolutely crush a multimillionaire celebrity who makes boring, unfocused content.
Because the normal person is providing a better retention signal.
A much better signal. The barrier isn't your camera quality anymore. It's the sheer efficiency, the engagement signal you can create.
Efficiency of signal. I like that. That's a perfect way to put it.
And this brings us right to the actual platform tactics that have lowered that barrier so much. Let's start with what a lot of analysts are calling the algorithm's easy mode for new creators.
Easy mode is a fascinating term. It implies this is a deliberate choice by the platform. What is YouTube actually doing on the inside that's making life easier for small channels right now?
Well, what's really interesting, according to some of the internal notes in our source material, is that YouTube actually has a dedicated team focused specifically on helping small creators. Yeah, people who are consistently uploading good stuff but just haven't hit that, critical mass of subscribers yet. They're actively trying to diversify who succeeds on the platform.
Why? What's in it for them?
Platform health. It depends on a constant fresh supply of new, unique content providers. They can't just rely on the same 100 massive channels forever.
So how does that focus translate to what I see on my phone? How does a channel with, say, 200 subscribers suddenly appear on my home feed?
It translates into direct visibility. We're seeing it every day. Videos from channels with as few as 200 to 600 subscribers, I mean, tiny channels, are being placed right on users' home feeds.
Right alongside the 10 million subscriber giants.
Exactly. The algorithm is pushing these small creators into these little testing pools of highly relevant viewers.
Yeah.
This is a massive change from the old days where you had to, claw your way up through search results or hope to get on a suggested video sidebar.
That's a huge psychological shift, isn't it? Just knowing your content will be seen by someone if it's targeted correctly.
It's a game changer. It means the barrier to just being discovered is lower than it has been in probably a decade.
But that initial push is just a test, right? If the algorithm is giving them that visibility, what are the metrics it's really looking at once I start watching?
It's moved way beyond just simple view counts or subscriber numbers. The focus has completely shifted to viewer satisfaction, watch time, and the new king metric, session duration.
Okay, watch time is simple enough. How much of the video did I watch? But what's session duration?
Session duration is the really strategic one. It asks, after your video ended, did the viewer stay on YouTube and watch something else? Or did they get bored and close the app?
So you're telling me the algorithm is judging my video based on what the viewer does after my video is over?
That's it. It's asking, does your content serve as a good gateway to the rest of the platform?
Wow.
Yeah. If your 10-minute video is so good that it gets the viewer excited to stay on YouTube for the next hour, maybe watching a playlist you recommended, or clicking the next suggested video, the platform sees your channel as incredibly valuable.
And it promotes you more heavily.
Heavily. This is how a normal person with a really clear niche idea can win. They keep the user locked in, which gives off a much better retention signal than some high-budget but ultimately unfulfilling piece of content that makes you want to just put your phone down.
That completely changes how you'd plan your content. You can't just have a hard stop at the end. You need to be thinking about proactively linking to other videos, maybe your own, maybe others, just to keep that session going.
You're optimizing for the platform's retention, not just your video's retention.
Got it. Okay, so this easy mode gets you seen, and the algorithm is rewarding session time. To do that, you need to be testing a lot of material. Which brings us to the most essential tool you mentioned.
The single most important tool in the modern creator's arsenal, Shorts, as a primary growth engine.
And the numbers on this are just staggering. Our materials say over 90 billion daily views. It's not optional anymore.
It is not optional. And here's why it's such a unique cheat code for new creators specifically. Shorts completely bypass the subscriber requirement.
0 subscribers needed.
0. Discovery is based on pure algorithmic evaluation of immediate performance. You upload a short, and within minutes, it's being shown to hundreds, maybe thousands of people.
Which gives you an instant feedback loop.
Instant, brutal, but highly accurate. If your short resonates, it can explode in an hour, and it doesn't matter if your channel is 1 day old or 10 years old.
It's the ultimate testing ground. Okay, so if I'm a new creator and I want to optimize for that instant virality on Shorts, what are the technical rules, the specific do's and don'ts?
The rules are incredibly narrow, and they're all derived from massive data sets on when people swipe away. For the best completion rates, the optimal length is between 15 and 35 seconds.
That's a tight window.
Very. Any longer, and the perceived time commitment in that fast swipe environment just causes the completion rate to plummet. But the most critical part is the hook.
The first few seconds.
The first 1 to 3 seconds.
Yeah.
The hook has to be fully executed visually and conceptually in that tiny window.
3 seconds. I mean, that's barely enough time to register what you're seeing.
You have to deliver the topic, the visual context, and the promise of value almost simultaneously. The viewer needs to know what this is and why they should give you even 30 seconds of their time.
And what's the key metric they're looking for? If it's not views, what is it?
This is vital. The key metric for Shorts is completion rate and, even more so, replays. Likes and comments are fine, they're secondary. But if a viewer loops your 25-second short 4 times.
That's a massive signal.
It's a signal that far outweighs 1,000 simple likes. It shows deep, repeated consumption. The algorithm loves that.
That makes so much sense. Our replay is almost a subconscious vote of extreme interest. But shorts themselves, they don't monetize very well, do they? So how do these successful, normal people bridge that gap to get to the real money, the $10K to $500 we were talking about?
That is the crucial strategy. It's the short to long funnel strategy. The smartest creators are treating their shorts not as standalone content, but as high-powered trailers for their longer monetized videos.
Ah, so they're an advertisement for the main course.
Exactly. They use cliffhangers, they show a dramatic summary, or they just give an explicit teaser to drive you directly from the short to the full-length version.
So a short might show you like a 2-minute glimpse of a really complex engine repair, and then the call to action is the full detailed tutorial is in the long video.
Precisely. And that cross-format engagement must be incredibly valuable to the algorithm.
I bet. Because you're taking a short-form viewer who's notoriously flighty and hard to monetize, and you're converting them into a long-form viewer.
And that person generates much higher ad revenue and builds long-term channel loyalty. That specific action, the conversion from a short viewer to a long-form consumer, is a huge signal of content quality to the main algorithm, and that's what gets you that coveted homepage placement we talked about earlier.
Wow. Okay, so that's a really powerful mechanical understanding of the platform. The easy mode gets you discovered, the shorts funnel drives the traffic. But once the audience actually clicks through to that long-form video, what is the content that's actually holding their attention?
Right.
Let's shift from platform mechanics to content strategy, authenticity, niches, and raw formats.
This is where the human element really comes in. The modern audience has very specific preferences. And the first strategic rule for success as a normal person creator is to embrace niching down hard.
We hear about niching all the time, but the source material says to go extremely specific. How narrow are we talking? I mean, how specific does a creator need to be to really capitalize on this?
You have to go way beyond the broad categories, like cooking or fitness. You need to define 3 to 5 clear, interconnected content pillars that are hyper-specific. The algorithm rewards this focus because it can create a perfect match between your content and a very specific audience.
What are some examples?
The examples cited in the reports are perfect. We're talking about things like fixing vintage Game Boys.
That specific.
That specific. Or exploring abandoned malls in Ohio. These topics sound almost absurdly narrow, but that specificity is their power.
So why does the algorithm reward that kind of deep expertise in such a narrow field?
Because it allows you to speak with total clarity and authority to a deeply engaged audience segment. Think about it. If you search for Game Boy repair and you find a channel that only posts about that, you're far more likely to subscribe and trust their authority than if you found some generic tech channel that covers phones and TVs and maybe did one Game Boy video 2 years ago.
Right. That narrow focus builds immediate, deep authority and loyalty, which all feeds back into session duration and repeat viewership.
Exactly. It makes the audience feel seen, like this content was made for me.
And that feeling of being catered to, that leads right into the second major theme, which our sources say is the ultimate competitive advantage for the normal person.
The triumph of raw authenticity.
This feels like a direct market rejection of the old media style, doesn't it?
A complete rejection. Audiences are actively pushing back against that overly polished corporate-style content. People are just tired of the fake enthusiasm, the super bright filters, the over-edited perfection.
Yeah, influencer voice.
Yeah, that generic influencer vibe that just feels sponsored and inauthentic.
So are we saying that a high-end camera and a professional editing team are actually less valuable now than genuine personality flaws and a simple, honest setup?
Significantly less valuable. It's wild. Normal people are succeeding with the simplest setups. Often it's just a phone and maybe a cheap lavalier mic because they're genuinely entertaining or deeply knowledgeable.
It's a shift from what? Production quality to personality density.
Personality density, I love that. Authenticity is the differentiator that lets them cut through all the noise.
But I have to ask, doesn't this hyper-focus on vulnerability and realness create a massive risk, for burnout or for privacy intrusions, especially for normal people who aren't used to being under a microscope? That seems like a really important trade-off.
That's a critical point, and the source material does acknowledge that risk later on in the sustainability section. But for the short-term strategy, this vulnerability is leveraged to achieve something incredibly powerful,
Which is?
creating parasocial trust. Normal people win because they speak naturally, they embrace their imperfections, and crucially, they show their real struggles. They aren't performing some flawless, unattainable persona.
So by showing this struggle, they create this deeper, almost intimate relationship with the viewer. The person watching feels this person is like me, or maybe if they can figure this out, then I can too.
Exactly. That vulnerability makes them deeply relatable. And relatability drives loyalty, it drives shares, and it drives high session duration. It's a form of strategic empathy. The audience feels like they're participating in the creator's life, not just watching a TV show.
That relatability is the engine.
Okay, let's look at the specific content formats that are really capitalizing on this raw approach, because there are a few that are just dominating right now for these non-celebrity creators.
We can basically group the booming formats into 4 key areas. The first one is the journey vlog style. This is all about documentation over performance.
Can you give me a really clear example of that documentation style?
The sources point to creators like Sam Sulek. He found this massive, rapid success just by filming his journey. He takes his phone to the gym, there's no fancy lighting, no scripts. The key isn't the workout itself, which can be chaotic.
Right.
It's the raw, unfiltered access to his personality and his process. It's the genuine, off-the-cuff commentary that builds that intense loyalty, not the cinematography.
And that connects directly to the second format, which is building in public.
Yes. This is where you document the entire process of learning a skill or building a product or starting a business. And what's crucial here, what defines the authenticity, is that you include the failures, the setbacks, not just the glossy highlight reel at the end. So strategically admitting that you completely messed up the first prototype or that your small business lost money in the first month, that's actually a tool for viewer retention.
It is the ultimate retention tool. It humanizes the whole process, and it sets the stage for the eventual success to feel like this massive shared payoff.
Okay, third format.
Expert-based solutions. This format wins because it provides crystal clear value.
And the beauty here, like you said before, is that the bar for what counts as an expert is pretty low.
Exactly. You don't need a PhD. You only need to know about 20% more than the person you're trying to help. Simple whiteboard-style videos or just talking head formats that solve very specific common problems are incredibly effective.
So like a mid-level accountant explaining one very specific nuanced tax loophole just using a simple screen share.
Perfect example. The information is high value, but the presentation is low friction.
And that niche education, that links directly to big monetization opportunities later on with courses and things. Okay, in the fourth format. It feels like it leans more into the emotional side.
It does. It's the use of relatable struggles. This content leans hard into shared human experiences. So channels that document daily failures or financial struggles.
Like someone documenting their journey to pay off a huge student loan debt?
Yes, or a 30-year-old who feels stuck in a repetitive, dead-end job. This kind of content draws immense support. The shared experience often converts directly into viewer donations, merchandise sales, and huge view counts from other people who are navigating the same challenges. The audience is basically supporting a surrogate for themselves.
That level of honesty has to be demanding, but it creates a profound connection. Now let's talk about a major structural barrier that has been completely obliterated, the faceless content explosion.
This is so critical for scaling, for introverts, for subject matter experts who just don't want to be on camera. Camera shyness or just wanting to maintain your privacy is no longer a barrier to making a full-time living from this.
So what are the popular formats that don't require any on-camera presence?
Things like voiceover documentaries and explainer videos, complex motion graphics, screen recordings with commentary like for software tutorials, or these highly niche compilations. You see channels dedicated just to like obscure 1950s jazz or showing archival historical footage with some context.
That means the focus shifts completely away from the performance of a personality.
And onto the quality of the script, the research, the editing, the information itself. It opens up monetization for all these subject matter experts who are amazing at conveying information, but would be deeply uncomfortable trying to be an on-camera personality.
The emphasis moves from the visual signal of the person to the conceptual signal of the information.
And if we tie this back to our core thesis, it proves that success in 2026 is truly determined by strategic thinking and execution, not by innate talent or, being good-looking.
Strategic thinking is the perfect transition. So we've established that content has to be authentic and niche. But if nobody clicks on it, that authenticity is invisible. So we have to talk about section 4, engineering the click and retention, the technical optimization.
This is all about packaging the content. And it starts with a principle that really separates the successful creators from the ones who struggle. And that's the idea of design first.
What exactly are they designing first, before they even write a script or turn on a camera?
They are strategically taught to design the thumbnail and the title first. This is a deliberate, audience-centric constraint.
How so?
It forces the creator to distill the entire essence of the video down into a highly clickable, curiosity-inducing package. The rule is, if you can't package the idea in a compelling way, the idea itself might be flawed, or at least the video won't get the initial traction it needs.
It's the ultimate gatekeeper test for your own idea. If the packaging is weak, the content just dies on arrival, no matter how good it is.
And this process often requires a lot of reframing of niche topics, so they appeal to a wider audience. You have to build that audience bridge.
Give me an example of that.
The one in our sources is perfect. Instead of a title that's all about the creator, like My Trip to Thailand.
Which is basically a journal entry.
Right. The strategic, curiosity-based title reframes the entire expectation. It becomes, Thailand surprised us in ways we never imagined.
Ah, that shifts the focus from the creator's experience to the viewer's promise of discovery and surprise. It's a hook, not just a summary.
And that psychological hook has to be paired with a strong SEO focus. Because while the algorithm is great at pushing content to non-subscribers, long-form videos still benefit massively from being easily searchable.
So you still need the keyword-rich titles and descriptions, but how do you balance that with the more emotional, curiosity-based titles?
It's a blend.
Yeah.
The front-loaded emotional title is what gets the click on the homepage, but the description and the tags have to be full of those long-tail keywords. That ensures that a new viewer who's searching for a specific solution 5 years from now can still find your content.
It generates long-term passive views, especially for those evergreen formats like tutorials or educational talks. Okay, so they click. Now we're at the true test of strategic execution, mastering the hook and retention. We talked about the 1-3-second rule for shorts. What's the critical window for a 10 or 15-minute video?
For long form, the key is the 15-second rule. Those first few seconds are absolutely critical because the algorithm is measuring that initial retention curve. What percentage of people make it past the first, say, half minute?
So in that window, the creator has to instantly answer the viewer's unspoken question.
Why should I watch this whole thing?
You have to state the value, you have to tease the payoff, or present a really compelling question right away. No long, meandering intros or fancy music.
And here's where strategic integrity really matters. The hook must immediately validate the expectation that was set by the thumbnail and title.
What do you mean by that?
If your thumbnail promises a massive explosion, the first 30 seconds better either show a dramatic snippet of that explosion or explicitly promise its imminent arrival and the journey to get there. If the video doesn't deliver on its promise in that initial window, if the viewer feels like they were tricked,
They're gone.
they're gone. And the algorithm registers that as a low-quality experience, and it will stop recommending your video immediately.
So clickbait that doesn't validate its own promise within the first 30 seconds isn't just bad for the viewer, it's now algorithmically punished. That forces creators to be more honest.
Exactly. And to keep that momentum going for the whole 10 or 15 minutes, the best creators are relying on very clear, strategic storytelling structures.
To maximize retention and stop people from just scrubbing ahead to the end.
Right. Our sources highlight 2 key frameworks that are really learnable.
Okay, let's start with the simpler one, the but-so framework.
This is a classic narrative tension device, just condensed for video. It creates this natural loop of tension and release that keeps your brain active and wondering what's next. The structure is simple. I tried to do X, the goal, but Y happened, the unexpected conflict, so I had to do Z, the solution or the twist.
Can we apply that to one of the normal person examples? Let's take Ian, the 7-Eleven worker, who focuses on those relatable struggles. How would he use that in, like, a 60-second clip?
Okay, so he might frame his daily shift like this. I plan to get the new inventory count done by lunch, that's X, but the delivery truck broke down and 3 different customers needed winning lottery tickets all at once. That's Y, the conflict, so I had to figure out a new, hyper-fast way of sorting all the energy drinks during my 5-minute break. That's Z, the solution.
It takes a totally mundane task and gives it immediate, low-stakes conflict. It drives you to want to see the payoff, the solution. It gives structure to what could just be chaotic, raw footage.
That structured chaos feels natural, but it doesn't meander. Okay, so what about the more advanced structure, the conflict arc?
This sounds more complex.
It is. It elevates the tension way more, and it aims for maximum unpredictability. It follows a classic script writing structure, just condensed. It goes hook, rising action, conflict, comeback, counter rising action, and then the final payoff.
That really does sound like a little movie script. Where does the unpredictability come from?
It comes in at the conflict and comeback steps. A typical kind of boring video structure just goes from hook to rising action to payoff. But the conflict arc introduces a huge, unexpected setback.
A major failure, a tool breaking, a big investment loss.
Something that looks like a dead end. And that's followed by a strategic comeback,
Yeah.
where the creator finds some ingenious, unexpected solution. The viewer is compelled to keep watching because they can't just skip ahead. They don't know how the creator is going to solve this seemingly impossible problem.
So it guarantees maximum watch time because the viewer's emotional investment is so high.
Exactly. And that level of storytelling is a learned skill, which proves, again, that strategic thinking is more important than having the best equipment.
Which leads us perfectly to the great equalizer in this whole landscape, the leveling power of AI tools.
This is the single biggest technological reason why that barrier to entry has completely collapsed. Smartphones and generative AI have just removed the need for expensive cameras, for big editing teams, for studio space. The notes are crystal clear on this. Execution now beats equipment, and AI facilitates high-speed execution.
So how are these normal people actually using AI? I mean, how does it change the return on investment for a one-person production?
AI is basically handling everything that used to require a specialized staff and a huge amount of time. This includes really sophisticated automated editing, professional thumbnail creation.
Like, AI can make thumbnails.
Yeah, and it can suggest high CTR designs, high click-through rate designs, and copy based on analyzing thousands of other successful videos in your niche.
That's incredible. What else?
They're using it for B-roll generation, so creating professional-looking background footage without ever leaving their laptop.
Yeah.
They can generate high-quality, realistic voiceovers and even AI avatars, which is directly fueling that whole faceless content explosion we talked about.
So AI lets one person manage the entire production pipeline that used to take, what, a four-person team? A writer, a cinematographer, an editor, a designer.
At least, it creates insane leverage. The cost of production drops to almost zero, while the speed of production goes way up, and that speed lets you hit the higher posting frequency that the algorithm rewards.
And it helps on the strategic side, too.
Oh, for sure. AI is indispensable for brainstorming scripts, for generating dozens of different title ideas that use curiosity gaps, and for comprehensive SEO optimization. It'll analyze your competitors' tags, trending keywords. It basically ensures you're hitting all the technical requirements for discoverability, even if you're not a marketing expert.
The technology is empowering the individual strategist, not just the big corporations who could afford the tools before.
That's the massive structural change.
Okay, let's shift our focus to long-term success. Section V, sustainable growth. Consistency, community, and monetization. Because, virality is fleeting, but consistency is what actually pays those $10 to $500K monthly bills.
And this whole section really redefines what consistency even means. It's not just about, I upload every Monday. It's about skill-based consistency.
What does that mean for a new creator?
It means being in a state of constant, focused skill development. The most successful, normal people are rigorously adhering to the 1% improvement rule.
Okay, explain that.
With every single upload, every short, every long-form video, they are striving to get just 1% better at one specific measurable skill.
So 1 week, the creator dedicates all their focus to just improving the pacing of the first 30 seconds.
Right. And the next week, they focus only on the color contrast in their thumbnail. They pick one specific skill thumbnail design, camera presence, editing transitions, script clarity, and they just focus on that incremental improvement.
And that continuous, visible improvement keeps viewers engaged over time, and it signals consistent quality to the algorithm.
It's the difference between doing the same thing 100 times and doing 100 things each slightly better than the last.
And what's the posting frequency that supports that kind of development?
The general advice is just to maintain activity. At least one long-form video plus daily shorts is a great rhythm. Or if your long-form videos are really complex, then making sure you post one substantial one every single week. The algorithm just rewards stability and reliability in your output.
If your channel is active, it's seen as a stable source of platform engagement.
Hmm.
But beyond just the output, the real strength of these creators is their ability to leverage that raw authenticity to build deep loyalty through community.
This is non-negotiable if you want long-term financial stability. The best creators treat their audience like a real community, not just a bunch of passive viewers.
What are they doing?
They're actively responding to comments, not just the positive ones, but really engaging with questions. They create inside jokes that only the regulars will get. They openly ask for input on what their next video should be about.
That dialogue creates a really powerful feedback loop, and it gives the audience a sense of ownership over the content.
And it directly impacts the metrics. Replying to comments builds massive loyalty. It encourages repeat viewers, which significantly boosts your engagement metrics. Another huge signal to the algorithm.
And in the discovery phase, they're not just relying on YouTube's organic reach, are they?
No, rarely. That's where the cross-platform funnel comes in. They use external platforms to feed their YouTube engine.
Like what?
TikTok, Instagram Reels, and especially niche communities on Reddit are massive sources of targeted traffic. A viral clip on a secondary platform can instantly kickstart a new YouTube channel and give it that initial momentum boost it needs for the YouTube algorithm to then take over.
Okay, let's talk about the most critical element, monetization and real-world examples. How do these normal people actually get to those staggering income figures we started with?
First, they diversify, and they do it immediately. AdSense is a nice baseline, but the real money comes from leveraging their hyper-niche authority. So they're monetizing through sponsorships, merchandise that's tied to their community's inside jokes, one-on-one coaching, and most profitably, selling comprehensive courses.
Let's tie this back to the specific examples from our notes. Connect the strategy directly to the revenue.
Okay, look at Ian, the 7-Eleven worker. He found rapid success purely on phone-recorded authenticity. He's documenting his daily, relatable struggle. His revenue is a mix of high-volume AdSense from the viral views and a really strong donation component from viewers who feel connected to him.
And his monthly income is around $25,000.
Around 25 grand a month. From a phone in a convenience store.
Yeah.
It just completely reframes the potential ROI in this space.
Absolutely. What about another one?
Okay, NeuroKnowledge. This channel focuses on philosophy using a simple whiteboard format. Classic expert-based solutions. No complex production, just clear, high-value information. They earn around $9,500 a month, mostly from AdSense and platform memberships.
It just reinforces that if the information itself is good and it's packaged clearly, the low production value is completely irrelevant.
Totally. And then you have the massive income generators, like Outdoor Boys. That $150,000 to $420,000 monthly range, I mean, it's phenomenal, especially since they post less frequently than a daily vlogger.
So how do they do that?
Their success is a perfect example of a high CPM niche, a high-value niche, paired with deep, deep loyalty. They film family adventures, which attracts a really desirable demographic for advertisers. Families, outdoor enthusiasts.
So the ads on their videos pay more.
Way more. And their infrequent posts don't matter because their content is evergreen, and their niche attracts huge, high-value sponsorships and brand deals for outdoor gear, travel, survival supplies. They get big checks, even if they're not uploading every day.
That disparity in income really shows the massive scale potential once that niche brand is established.
And what about the niche education channels? The accountants, the coders, they focus on simple talks or screen shares to explain job skills. Their primary monetization is selling courses. They use YouTube to establish their authority, provide a ton of free, high-quality value up front, and then they sell these deep-dive instructional courses to highly qualified leads who have already proven they're interested.
And that strategy is often entirely faceless.
Often is. And allows them to scale into the tens or even hundreds of thousands a month, depending on their course price.
That provides incredible context on the financial reality. But to be balanced, we have to talk about the trade-offs and the hidden truth, because this process, even if it's predictable, is not a guarantee for everyone who uploads a video.
No, and this is the most critical realization for anyone who wants to try to engineer this kind of growth. The sources really emphasize this. Most of these overnight successes uploaded between 50 to 200 videos before they saw that exponential growth curve kick in.
So they were essentially in the dark, uploading high-quality content, applying that 1% improvement rule every single week, and being basically ignored by the wider audience for months, maybe even years.
Exactly. The audience only sees the inflection point, that moment of massive virality. They don't see the invisible grind that led up to it. The success is built on compound interest earned on consistency. They just stayed in the game long enough for that incremental improvement to finally hit a tipping point.
That really underscores the psychological challenge here. It's not a lack of quality that derails most people. It's the hurdle of maintaining that intensity when the payoff is invisible for so long.
And there are other risks. First, the sheer volume of competition is insane. Millions of channels, and the quality floor is constantly rising because of all the AI tools. Second, you're highly dependent on an unpredictable algorithm that can change on a whim.
And third,
The massive burnout risk. It's associated with that constant need for content creation, especially when you're trying to improve by 1% every single time while seeing zero immediate results for your effort. That emotional and professional pressure is just immense.
that need for long-term resilience is key. And we also have to acknowledge there is still a role for timing.
Absolutely. The luck factor still exists. Virality always involves an element of timing and chance. Hitting a specific cultural moment or a trending topic at just the right second.
But deliberate strategy maximizes the opportunity for luck to strike.
That's the perfect way to put it. By being consistently present, you make yourself available for luck. You're not just passively waiting for it.
Which brings us perfectly to the end of our deep dive, Section 6, the power of strategic thinking. This entire conversation has just profoundly redefined how success is achieved in the modern creator economy.
Yeah, the key takeaway is that success today is a reward for strategic thinking, for designing strong hooks, for clear framing, for emotional resonance, and for implementing a learned structure. It's all paired with disciplined, consistent execution. It's no longer about innate talent or how much money you can spend on production.
We've established the core pillars, right? It's raw authenticity that builds that parasocial trust, a relentless niche focus using shorts as this mandatory high-speed funnel.
And the rigorous, data-driven application of analytics and storytelling frameworks.
This knowledge really provides a powerful blueprint for leveraging the current digital landscape. Whether you're thinking of becoming a creator yourself, or you just need to understand the fundamental mechanics of digital marketing and consumer behavior.
The playbook is clear. You optimize for the specific behavioral signal the algorithm wants, and right now, that's session duration.
The technical barrier to entry has never been lower. A smartphone and some AI tools, and you're in the game. But the strategic barrier, the ability to think like a content strategist, not just a content producer, that's higher than ever. It's a game of mind over matter.
Absolutely. The future of online video success, it belongs to those who view creation not as this quick sprint where you hope for a lottery ticket,
But as a long-term project.
a long-term project of incremental, skill-based development.
The goal isn't just to be unique or talented anymore. The goal is to stay put, keep improving, and apply the strategy until that compounding growth inevitably kicks in. That's what allows you to catch the moment of luck when it finally arrives.
That patience is the final strategic frontier.
Thank you for navigating this complex, fascinating landscape with me. It's a powerful validation of strategic effort over just about anything else.
My pleasure. It's a great conversation.
We really hope you found value in this deep dive. Now, go forth and analyze those retention graphs. We'll catch you next time.